Let's see. Osama Bin Laden sending a new message to America, the fugitive leader of al-Qaeda, apparently releasing a brand new audio tape linking the 9/11 attacks to U.S. support for Israel. Bin Laden is also threatening to step up attacks in Afghanistan, calling President Obama powerless to stop the war there. Jennifer Griffin is live at the Pentagon for us. Jennifer, anything striking about this new audio tape?
Well, I think, as you mentioned, Rick, the thing that's most striking is his obsession with Israel. And this is something that has been true of these released audio tapes for the last couple of years. But originally, if you go back to the late 90s and shortly after 9/11, bin Laden's messages did not focus so heavily on Israel. It has really become a recruiting tool in recent years, knowing how this plays in across the Middle East. And so his obsession with Israel and the Israel lobby, as he describes it. He quotes a book that was written by John Mearsheimer about the effect of the Israel lobby on the U.S. government. What's also striking, and one wonders, I've spoken to counterterrorism officials about this, whether Adam Gaddan, the American al-Qaeda member who is out in the Pakistan tribal areas, whether he had some influence on the way this is written, because the words chosen, it's a very American style of phrasing and the obsession with certain internal American politics, Rick.
Well, we know they've been able to recruit at least a bunch of Americans over there. What about the way that he talks about President Obama? He had quite a few things to say about him, didn't he?
Well, he did indeed. In fact, he said that he would meet the fate of the Kennedy brothers. That was a direct threat against President Obama. He also said President Obama was really no different than President Bush. He points out that he describes it as President Obama keeping the same national security team that President Bush had, and that these are simply neocons. He's obsessed with the idea that President Obama is not going to end the war in Afghanistan. Clearly, that is very irksome to the al-Qaeda leadership, and he's trying to paint Obama as being really no different than President Bush.
Well, here we are, almost 9 months into the Obama administration, and Osama bin Laden still around and releasing these audio tapes. But didn't President Obama, as a candidate, criticize the Bush administration for not going after bin Laden? And didn't he promise that he would?
Absolutely. The one thing striking about President Obama is since he took over as commander-in-chief, he continued that somewhat controversial Predator unmanned aerial vehicle program out in the tribal areas of Pakistan. That has continued unabated. That's the CIA program to go after these top-level al-Qaeda and Taliban leaders inside Pakistan. It was controversial because it was politically sensitive with Pakistan. But listen to President Obama on October 7th at the presidential debate, where he really took President Bush to task for not having killed Osama bin Laden.
We will kill bin Laden. We will crush al-Qaeda. That has to be our biggest national security priority. Pakistan is unable or unwilling to hunt down bin Laden and take him out, then we should. Now, that, I think, has to be our policy, because they are threatening to kill more Americans.
Now, that being said, Rick, he has continued with the Predator program, as controversial as that is, and there have been some very big hits, more than a dozen big hits on al-Qaeda leaders in Pakistan's tribal areas. However, they have not been able to get bin Laden, and I think he's realizing, as commander-in-chief, just how difficult that is.